After Tom helped Rand and Matt escape the Fade, Rand and Matt take off cross-country on their way to Caemlyn in the hopes of meeting up with Moraine and the rest of the party. However, there are dark friends at every turn. Hello and welcome to the Doctors Who podcast. My name is Chris.
My name is Chip.
My name is Brian.
And today we are covering chapters 31 and 33. Lots of Rand and Matt stuff, so why don't we jump right in?
All right, so these three chapters the structure in them is kind of different than we've seen from most everything else in the book so far, where we haven't seen Rand and Matt in a while, so these three chapters, and I think at least the next one or two are also Rand and Matt chapters, but we do a lot of catching up with Rand and Matt and what's been going on. But the structure starts in chapter 31 where they're on this cart, they get these scarves from the guy who's giving them a ride, and all of a sudden they're kind of catapulted into this flashback that really lasts until almost the end of chapter 33. So we kind of fill in all these gaps of kind of what's been going on with Rand and Matt since they left Whitebridge, since Tom's battle with the Fade, that they have been staying on random farms and kind of making their way, on the Caemlyn Road as much as they can. They realize that they've got Tom's instruments, and they do have that, training from Tom when they were on Bail Domon's ship, so they realize, well, maybe we can, play music and ends and entertain people and, earn, a meal and a bed for the night. So they do that. Then, so we kind of catch up with them there. And then the big event happens. I think it's the end of chapter 32 where they're in Four Kings, and all of a sudden this lightning strike happens, seemingly out of nowhere. But we can talk about that more in a little while. But anyway, there's a lot going on here, but the structure of it was just odd to get used to realize, oh yeah, we're flashing back here.
Yeah, to echo what Chip said, there was just a ton of stuff that went on through here. It was that whole build-up. I mean, I like the fact that we were talking about this a little bit earlier, but I like that Jordan decides to go through and kind of build these little kind of mini ebbs and flows. So he builds up the fact that, yeah, they've started to learn how to play the instruments. Matt knows how to juggle a little bit. And now they're able to kind of make their living off of that as they travel to Caemlyn. But yeah, I think Chip said it well too when they get to that, and that really is the big focal point of these three chapters. Just, they're now. Was it Paul McCartney wrote "Man on the Run," but all I could think of was "Rand on the Run." Anyway, it was like just a whole series of bad things happening, and it felt like it was completely spiraling, and I'm like, I have no idea how they're gonna get out of this. And they're able to escape that room away from Gode or Gode. I'm not sure how you guys pronounce it, but I really like that third chapter in the section. It was 33, I believe, and it's a good example of non-linear storytelling where that flashback really kind of caught me off guard, and it changed up the pace of how I read that chapter. And I thought that was a good literary technique to kind of keep me reading, because it's like, well, you know what's going to happen within the first couple pages of that chapter. You spend the rest of the chapter trying to figure out how you got there. So I thought it was really captivating. It was a good 3 sections for me.
Okay, so this series of chapters is really all about trust. Matt isn't trusting anybody. Farmers and people they come across on the road have less and less trust, and we find out that it's justified, right? Because first Gode comes at them, and then that little boy, as Pater, approaches them at the inn. And then finally in the stable, this woman comes after them. And so this whole thing of, can we trust anybody is really starting to lead them toward no. Because they're just trying to keep their head low, but yet they're constantly being found. So that was kind of the big takeaway for me, I think.
It it seemed like this was the first time where, Lan had talked a while back that the world was a dangerous place, and you kind of didn't really get that from the first couple places. Like it was maybe a little raucous in Barrelon. It was a little chaotic in Whitebridge, but that was because of the fate. Like they had some reasons. There were dark beings there, but here we're starting to see that the world is not only evil because of those people, but like there are these dark friends are everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So it really brings it why in 34 they didn't, or 33 they didn't go with Master Kinch, and why, but then it's like time after time they're just getting burned and chased by these dark friends. So it was a really like foreboding set of chapters. Like, are they going to make it alive to the end of this section, let alone the book?
Yeah, and it really comes down to every time they think they're safe, they're not, right?
Well, and do we want to talk a little bit about? I mean, I was really intrigued by Gode or Gode. Um, he was he is he the first real like I don't know, like sub boss for the like he clearly is a man of stature. Like he obviously was higher than some of the other dark friends that they encountered. I'm really curious to know like more about him. I don't know. He obviously I don't know. It was just such a strange character in that inn. How did he find Rand and Matt?
Yeah, and this is the first time we've actually met a dark friend, I think, or met him by
Mhm.
name. So I don't know. He is very interesting. He's well educated, or he seems educated. He seems well to do. He's got, a fancy carriage that's parked behind the inn, and just the way that he's portrayed. It's like he didn't just fall into this by accident. There's something that's probably inherently evil about him that drew him to the Dark One. This isn't the first dark friend we've met, I guess. It's the first one that Jordan has told us outright is a dark friend, but knowing where the story goes, there is another one that we've met previously and will make a return. But
I I would like to at least call out. I saw the name Paitr or Piter, and I was like, boy,
Peter
that really
DeVries,
sounds familiar. What's that?
Peter DeVries from Dune.
Yes, that's who I thought of. I was
Oh,
like, he
okay.
sounds like the Twisted Mentat
Yeah.
to the House of Harkonnen. But anyway, again, knowing that this was that Jordan based some of his ideas or had been noted to have read Dune, you wonder if there's some little Easter eggs like that hidden around here.
Oh, I
But
think there are. And I think there are for other books too that he's, used as inspiration or pays homage to the things that he loves. So
Yeah, and so you've got several of these things, right? You've got the Bene Gesserit and the Aes Sedai. You have
Mhm.
the Aiel, kind of harkening back to the Fremen.
very much by the Fremen.
Yeah,
Mm.
and so there are these things that he borrows, and it's really like not quite a knockoff.
Oh yeah.
But some people think of it that way, right? And it's weird. It's like, yo, he's not trying to rip off Tolkien. He's not.
No, the Sword of Shannara is a Tolkien knockoff.
Yes.
But this one is not.
Right. Yeah. Why don't we talk about lightning?
The lightning strike.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say that the song you thought of was Blinded by the Light, not Band on the Run.
That was really sudden. I honestly didn't know how they were going to get out of that, and then I was like, oh yeah, we've maybe encountered this or the ability to get out of or difficult situations before with.
Yep.
I mean, is it fair to say with the subsequent sickness in 33?
Mm-hmm.
I think Jordan drops every he can what happened.
Yes.
Yeah. He definitely does.
I kind of, we now know as the reader, but like, and they don't know what's going on, and
Rand
even
doesn't
like,
know what's happening to him, I don't think.
right.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't understand that it's happening yet.
Well, and really, Jordan is doing everything he can to just beat us over the head with this. He's like, hey, this guy, he can probably wield the one power. I'm hitting you over the head with it. Because it is just, he's trying to make it obvious.
This is like the fourth time, I think, in the book that he has. Because the first was when they were fleeing Two Rivers, when he was kind of urging Bella on.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Then there was in Barillon with the White Cloaks.
Right.
Then on the Spray, when they got on the Spray and the mask.
Yeah.
Was there another one, or is this really... We haven't seen a lot of Rand and Matt since Whitebridge, but I don't think there was anything in Whitebridge. I think this is next time. So, but each time it kind of gets bigger and bigger too. You know what happens,
and the sickness gets closer to the actual event.
More, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Well, and more severe. I was, like that, the entire scene where he was hallucinating all of his friends coming into the barn, and they're like, you killed me because you let us down, or you did whatever. And I mean, that was really pretty severe in my opinion, and yet he's still like, we got to make it to Caemlyn, we got to make it even to Tarvalon.
Well, and this is also where we start to see some of the old Matt come out too, right? Because you see him come out and like actually be like concerned and caring. Yeah,
because while all this is happening, Matt's been kind of slipping further and further, and there's kind of bursts of the old Matt every now and then, but he's pretty, subdued and kind of, I don't know, just sullen. And
his transformation, even from the Spray where he didn't want to associate from anybody, and now to him having to step forward and help Matt or Rand because he's not feeling well is, it's good to know he's still in there, right? He's still there.
Right.
So, yeah.
And that was a really intense chapter, and then completely justified when you go back to the beginning of 33 when the farmer was like, you can come lay low at my house for a couple days. I'm just 5 miles up the road. And they're like, no.
Yeah, and again, it goes back to that theme of trust, right? They don't know who they can trust. The only people they trust, for all they know, might be dead. They really need Moraine and Lan to help kind of guide them through this, but they're having to kind of field it by themselves because the other person they trusted, Tom, is kind of... He gave his life, seemingly, for them. So when we resume with our next episode, we are going to continue following along with Rand and Matt as they journey to and arrive in Caemlyn. Will Moraine, Lan, and the party be there to greet them? Will there be more Dark Friends or more Fades? I guess we'll find out. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you for watching. If you liked what you saw, please click the subscribe button and use the notification bell so that when we post new content, you are notified. Lastly, please leave a comment below. Let us know your thoughts on the video. We look forward to joining you next time. And Brian, it's all you.
And until then, Alonzi.